Welcome to this explainer. Okay, I want you to start by picturing someone very specific in your workplace right now. You know the one, that highly capable coworker who always seems to be producing top-tier results, but whenever a break rolls around, they are mysteriously absent. Maybe they always eat lunch alone at their desk, or you spot them taking solo walks in the park, or maybe they're just quietly staring out the window at the end of the hall. It's a pretty common sight, right?
And, when we see this person, our natural tendency is to wonder what's going on. Why are they always by themselves? Are they just lonely? Do they secretly dislike being around people? Or are they just, completely socially awkward? It is so incredibly easy to misjudge that quiet independence as a lack of social skills or a sign of isolation.
Well, let's dive into this, because today we are completely flipping the script. The idea that these individuals are simply antisocial is a total myth. The fact is, and cognitive science backs this up, this solitude is actually a highly strategic, scientifically sound choice. It's a deliberate, calculated move to protect their brain health, supercharge their creativity, and ultimately maintain that high level of performance. So, to unpack exactly why this works, we're going to quickly cover 4 things: silencing brain noise, how mind-wandering sparks ideas, the surprising link between autonomy and compassion, and finally, practical tips for creating your own alone time. Let's jump straight into number 1, silencing brain noise.
Think about our modern world for a second. We are constantly bombarded. Our brains are literally overflowing with data, notifications, and just endless chatter. Highly intelligent people absolutely recognize this, and they actively seek out solitude to protect their cognitive bandwidth. They are essentially putting their brains on pause to clear out the static. And get this, there is hard science backing this up. A research group that included Harvard Medical School looked at folks in an 8-week program called Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction, or MBSR for short. It's basically a practice focused on finding quiet time and calming the mind. Well, what they found was astonishing. The researchers didn't just see a boost in people's moods, they observed actual structural changes in the physical brain itself.
And what structurally changed is the really fascinating part. The researchers confirmed a tangible increase in gray matter density, particularly in areas like the left hippocampus. Now, gray matter is absolutely crucial. It's the region responsible for learning, memory, emotional regulation, and self-awareness. So by intentionally seeking out quiet environments and shutting down that external noise, these individuals are literally upgrading their brain's hardware. They are physically expanding their brain capacity simply by allowing it to rest. Mind-blowing, right?
The best part? You don't need a fancy laboratory to start doing this yourself. You can mimic these exact neurological benefits by systematically turning down the dial across all 5 of your senses. To reduce auditory noise, just pause the background music and find a quiet spot. For visual noise, dim the lights or simply close your eyes for a bit. Olfactory, avoid strong scents and just get some fresh air in the room. You can cut down tactile noise by wearing loose, comfortable clothes and literally dropping your devices out of your hands. And finally, gustatory noise. Give your sense of taste a break by avoiding continuous snacking and letting yourself have periods where you aren't processing complex flavors. Giving your senses a break is like putting a protective shield around your intelligence.
Moving right along to number 2, mind-wandering sparks ideas.
Okay, so we just talked about resting the brain, right? But now let's talk about the incredible, productive power of doing absolutely nothing. Because when smart people retreat into solitude, they aren't always in some deep meditative trance. Sometimes they are just letting their minds wander completely aimlessly. And research from Georgia Tech and the University of New Mexico reveals exactly why this is such a game changer. They found a positive correlation between a wandering mind and high levels of creativity and fluid intelligence. This all happens through the activation of something called the default mode network, or DMN, in your brain. Fluid intelligence is basically your superpower. It's your ability to face a brand new problem, strip away your reliance on past knowledge, and just solve it on the fly. And it turns out letting your mind wander is the ultimate engine for that kind of brilliant, on-the-spot problem solving.
Now you might be thinking, wait, isn't that just mindfulness? Actually, scratch that. There is a really crucial distinction here. Mindfulness and mind wandering are both incredibly useful, but they serve completely different purposes. Mindfulness is all about anchoring yourself, focusing intently on the present moment, which, as we saw with the gray matter, is great for your brain structure. But mind wandering? That is about letting your mind completely off its leash. It's roaming freely, jumping wildly from thought to thought. And that is exactly what sparks creativity
and helps you stumble upon those unexpected solutions to really tough problems.
Which brings us to number 3, autonomy and compassion.
Now, this section is absolutely crucial because it totally debunks that tired myth that smart, quiet people are just misanthropes who hate working with others. The reality of their value system is entirely different. To prove this, let's look at a massive study out of Deakin University in Australia. Researchers analyzed a huge sample size. We're talking 15,552 people to investigate the relationship between intelligence and personal values. And they found that folks with high general intelligence strongly correlated with 3 very specific core values.
And this brilliantly illustrates the balance they hold. The first value is self-direction, or autonomy, basically the desire to think and act independently. Because they value autonomy so highly, they often choose to work alone simply to avoid the stress, the compromise, and the constant adjusting that comes with group work. But look at the other 2 values: benevolence, which is a deep, genuine care for those close to them, and universalism, a broad sense of care for society as a whole. They don't seek solitude because they lack compassion. No way! They actually score off the charts in caring for others. They just recognize that stepping away from the crowd is the most efficient, rational way to execute their ideas.
Finally, let's wrap up with number 4, creating alone time.
So we've seen the science, we know this stuff builds brain structure, sparks fluid intelligence, and protects your autonomy. But look, I know exactly what you're probably thinking right now. I am way too busy for this. I cannot just go sit in a quiet cave for an hour every day. But here's the good news. You do not need to book a week-long silent retreat to see these benefits. As the source material points out in its FAQ, sensory noise reduction, even for just a few minutes, helps rest the brain. It is entirely about the quality of the disconnection, not the quantity of hours. You can easily weave this into the most packed schedule.
So, here is a super quick, highly actionable guide to claiming back some cognitive rest during a normal workday. Step 1, just step away from your desk during a break. Step 2, put down the smartphone, literally physically separate yourself from it. Step 3, close your eyes and silence the background noise. Maybe find a quiet corner or a bench outside. And step 4, just let your mind wander. Seriously, don't try to solve that stressful work problem. Just let your thoughts drift wherever they want. Doing this for literally just a few minutes during a chaotic day can completely reset your cognitive bandwidth.
So the next time you spot that brilliant coworker eating lunch solo, you'll know exactly what's up. They aren't lonely. They are strategically recharging their most valuable asset. The science is incredibly clear here. Solitude is a wildly powerful tool for intelligence, creativity, and overall mental health. Which leaves me with one final provocative question for you to ponder. In a world of constant, overwhelming noise, when are you going to schedule your next meeting with yourself? Take a page out of the smart person's playbook and claim your alone time today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this explainer, and I will catch you on the next one.